Your first interview together, what does it feel like finally doing this?
That's pretty good, evidently. Feels like being stoned, apparently.
No.
When you found out that, let's start with you, that you were going to work with her on this movie, what were your first thoughts?
For real.
I thought, I was excited. I actually really wanted Jen to do the movie. I thought that it was important. Like, selfishly for me, I wanted to have somebody who was well-known, you know, big star, whatever in the movie to help. Felt like it was a kind of an offbeat movie, you know, and the more kind of like wattage it had, I thought the more it would help the movie. And also, so I was really excited about that on that level. And then, you know, I guess I was a little bit kind of thinking, well, is she going to be, you know, what's this going to be like? I mean, you always sort of go into a movie a little bit, if you don't know the person you're working with, a little bit kind of treading on thin ice sort of for the first week, hoping that the person doesn't turn out to be a disaster, you know. I'm sure it's the same for you, that you go in and you kind of want to see what people are going to be like. No? Not the same for you?
No, I go into a movie with an open mind.
You worry a little bit.
I wasn't worried at all.
I hear you.
I worry more that the people are going to like me. You know what I mean? I'm like, I hope they like me. I do.
Really?
Yeah.
But here you are working with the sexiest man alive.
Yes, I know.
At the time.
He said he assumes people will like him.
No, I said assume people won't like me. That's what I said.
So did you call your girlfriend and say, I'm working with Ben Affleck? He's the sexiest man alive?
He wasn't the sexiest man alive then, no. No,
he wasn't. No. He wasn't even remotely appealing, really, to tell you the truth.
No,
he was so far from sexiest man alive. He was kind of homely.
I didn't mention it. No. No. I was excited to work on. I had done.
You called your girlfriends up and you were like, I've been working with Ben Affleck.
He's so fine. No, I didn't. No, I didn't, because I was more excited about working with an actor who I felt like could help the same kind of concerns, help carry a movie. I had done a few movies where I was like carrying the whole thing on my back all by myself, and I was excited to kind of like put the load on somebody else. So it
turned out we both just went into it wanting to be lazy and have somebody else do all the work and take care of it.
When did you meet? You met at parties somewhere.
We met like at a couple of parties, you know. We barely paid any attention to each other at all. Just like, hi.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a nice way of saying you iced me at the party.
No, you iced me.
But we met when we did the you know, the read-through for the movie. Yeah, the read-through.
The first read-through, yeah.
And when did you realize something was happening here? When did you fall in love?
You keep asking that. I told you, you can't pinpoint it. It was like we became friends first. That is the honest to God truth.
Yeah, it's the truth. It's the truth. We kind of, you know, we went into it with that, at least I did, with a sense of like being excited about the movie, kind of focusing on that. Both of us kind of coming from sort of distracting other stuff.
Being really happy that we liked each other.
It was nice to get along. We had a good time, and we really liked doing the movie. The scenes were really good. The stuff was working kind of with us and Justin. The three of us had the really good, and then, you know, we had Walken come in and Al Pacino come in, all these great other actors kind of coming in and out.
It felt like we had good chemistry, you know what I mean? He liked to improv. I could improv back, you know what I mean? He's the best person to improv in the whole entire business, really. He's so funny.
Don't be like my mom.
I'm your mom,
where you're like, don't do that thing where you're like, he's the best.
He's
so
though.
good.
I swear, I'm not the only one who says it. I'm not the only one who says it. Marty Brest will say it. Everybody who worked on that film will say it. He really is great on the off-the-cuff stuff, but I enjoyed it because we could go back and forth.
Yeah, it was like a really fun, you know, the thing about the movie felt kind of special to me. It really felt like, as I kind of talked to you about earlier, I was playing somebody really different from myself, and I was really kind of feeling like I was hitting my stride as an actor, kind of connecting with the material, really on the same wavelength as the director. I had this co-star that was there to work every day and was really fun, and I thought brought a lot of, you know, as she said, like some of the stuff that was improvised, it would be, you know, I got a lot back from her, from Justin. So it felt like, for me, a real kind of special time professionally. I wasn't thinking a lot about my personal life or how much, you know what I mean? And it wasn't, the focus wasn't on that at the time. It was like, I'm going to get really serious about acting. This is a real performance piece, and I really want to grow. I want to do something better. I want to play a real character.
And it came to be a thing where we both respected each other, which I think was really important, too.
And because the whole thing was totally off limits, you know, we did end up becoming friends, plain and simple.
I told them we told each other too much.
Yeah, tell me about that. She said you gave up too much information about each other.
I probably did. You know, because you know when you're not trying to impress somebody because you don't think that they're going to be, you don't think that you're ever going to be dating
I'll
them,
never
so
see
you're like,
this
whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't have to impress her. You know what I mean? And you end up like, yeah, I did do that. You know what I mean? Or you'll kind of admit to things that you wouldn't necessarily. And the truth is probably, you know, we all try to put this.
He told me about all his ex-girlfriends and everything. That's what I mean, you know. And
Let's dial that down. Yeah.
So
anyways, you know, when you put out like a kind of a representative, it's like Chris Rock says when you're trying to meet. So it's like the two representatives.
He wasn't
meet.
trying
It's
to
not
rap
really
to
you.
me. That's
You
the
know,
thing.
and instead I just, you know, and I think she was the same way. So
Right.
we kind of were.
It's kind of a cool way to do it.
So it was great.
Right.
We could get to know each
'Cause
other.
we
You
got
kind
to
of
know
the
the
good,
real
bad.
person.
Right.
The real person. As
That's
opposed
true.
to like the
I
Mac.
haven't forgotten that either. Don't
Luckily, I had nothing bad to tell him. On the other hand,
So the first time you kissed was in a movie. The first time you kissed is on screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Tell me about that.
Oh gosh.
You know what? It was a. You gotta really.
Stop laughing.
You gotta just.
You want me to help with the questions? Okay.
Because people are gonna watch this movie, and you know, I was telling him they're gonna try to figure out if you were in love then and what the kiss meant, and all that
Right.
kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I
laughed.
suppose so. I hope actually that they watch the movie and kind of get. I think to a certain extent there will be some of that as people come in to see the movie. That will probably be part of the attraction. I hope that people come to see the movie, you know, and some people will probably see it for that reason. But I hope that once you get in there and you sit down and you start watching the movie, that actually we're playing two people very different from ourselves.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know,
This is true.
spent a lot of time being a character on the set. So it wasn't really, even when we were doing love scene or whatever, it was really about kind of trying to make the scene work, trying to make it good. You know, every actors always sit down and tell you, you know, like,
Love
well,
scenes
wasn't
are
that
very
sexy or whatever,
challenging.
but it's not.
But they're
it's not that
challenging
sexy. It's
because
like,
so much has been done. It's like, what do you do? And what you have to do is kind of really try to get into, I had to really get into my character and his character and what their kind of thing would be together. And that's always the hardest thing about doing those scenes.
The yoga scene, which obviously I'm obsessed with.
Yes.
You won't be the only one. I can't blame him, really. The yoga scene's a big crowd pleaser.
Now,
People love it. They do. I like
so the
it.
day you shot that scene,
I know you like it.
Did you? She said when she saw it, she was mortified when that.
I was
word
mortified.
came
Your
out.
grandmother was visiting the set that day, wasn't she? Or was it your mother? Or no,
My
that was like the
mother.
next day.
My
or your
mother
mother was
no,
there.
but when we first saw it, remember we were in the editing room with Marty
Yeah.
and he showed us a couple of scenes.
You were a little
I
terrified.
wanted to die.
It's hard. She really went for it. You know what I mean? That is a really risky thing to do and a really brave thing to do as an actress. Go out there and play that scene and
It's
be honest
so-
with it. She killed it. You know, she did a great job. I think that's what makes the impression. There's a lot of, you know, it's not unusual in movies for people to use racy language or talk about sex or even have sex. But the reason why that scene stands out, when if you look at the parts, it shouldn't be such a racy, crazy scene, but it just is imbued with a kind of commitment that makes it a really sexy scene that I think Jennifer deserves credit for.
Will you go to my yoga class with me? I'd love to show and tell.
Pat, you can hardly
I've
touch your
given up
toes.
yoga.
Don't act like you do yoga. Act like you're the downward dog.
Please.
I've given up yoga.
You have?
Yes.
How great does she look in this movie?
Fabulous.
Every scene, she looks
Beautiful.
fantastic.
That's not that's not hard to do. She always looks great. But she looks really good in this movie. It was photographed by a guy named Ball Belswit, who didn't do me any justice. He's a hack cinematographer.
That's not
But
true.
he's still, Jennifer managed to look beautiful, and it was nice. Nice looking movie. It has a very realistic look. It's very kind of focused on the characters and
Yeah.
this like sort of the story ultimately kind of revolves around this strange family dynamic that evolves with my character sort of as a father and hers sort of as a mother and Justin's character sort of as the son, except that the gender roles. One of the other interesting things that's kind of really unusual about this movie is that we kind of keep the whole idea of who wears the pants
Yeah.
kind of goes back and forth. Who's going to be in charge? Who's going to be the man in the relationship? Who's going to be the woman in the relationship?
I won't
And-
tell you how the movie ends, but
Who does wear the pants, by the way? in this group?
in the
Well-
movie,
No, right here in this house.
Ben wears the pants. He definitely wears the pants.
No, I don't think.
We respect each other.
Yeah, I
and
think
that's
you have a
the
mutual
important
respect. I don't think there's a, you know, I don't think it's any, anybody has any, like, anything
But
to
I'm
gain about it.
traditional in a way
Yeah.
that I take on the woman roles in certain things. Like I like to cook and I like to make sure he has things. You know, I'm a caretaker. I mean, everybody who works with me calls
Crazy.
me Ma, and I'm crazy. No, calls me Ma because I like that. I like to take care of people, and it's no different in our relationship. I like to make sure that he has everything he needs.
Do you like making toast in the morning?
Whatever you'd like.
She's much more traditional than I anticipated she would be. Kind of when I first met her, or whatever. It's just it's interesting. It's interesting because this day and age, people take all sorts of different kind of approaches to what it means to be a man. What does it mean to be a woman? Which is kind of one of the interesting things
And also
about the
being-
movie. In fact,
Yes.
is that you have this vacillation between these two characters, between who's going to be the authority. What does it mean to be a man? And she keeps telling him, her character keeps telling him to like re-examine his idea of masculinity. That masculinity isn't about yelling at people and shouting at people and hitting people. That it's about something more refined than that. And it's kind of an interesting thing. And ultimately, it's about this guy Gigli sort of realizing, in fact, that she may be right about one or two
That she
things.
is right.
Maybe.
How did you pop the question to her? Traditional way?
You didn't see the interview, I guess. Where I spilled all the beans.
Yeah.
In a traditional way?
Yeah.
Yes, it was traditional.
Did you get permission from her dad?
I'm just trying to figure out how to work the movie into this answer, and
Oh,
I'm having a hard time trying to figure out how they relate to.
They want to hear your side.
They want to hear my story. You know, I think that there's some of it that I like. That's the details of it that are private and
Not
kind of
private
special.
anymore because
And
I told everybody.
no, you told some of it. I know you're a saboteur.
I know I'm terrible. I'm a girl. What do you want from me? I'd like to talk about
I want to know
it. It's
how he
great.
proposed right now.
But you know, I took the ring out and I asked her to marry. I took the traditional approach.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And did you go through her parents and all that?
I did speak to her parents.
Okay, so it's pretty traditional.
Mm-hmm.
When you're watching Access Hollywood.
Yes.
Yes!
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Always.
when you see these reports about all this lavish spending, and we both have talked about it, it's just got to. Do you laugh? Do you look at each other?
Yes, we
Do you-
laugh.
Sometimes it's
Even-
pretty funny. Yeah. Sometimes I think like, I wonder. Do you think that she think that I did buy those cars, but they're for another girl? She gets mad. Who's getting all the gifts? That's, to a certain extent, it's funny and. But like I said, sometimes I think it's a little bit crazy because I really do get the fear sometimes that's going to engender. Like I feel like we have to be the number one on any carjacker worth his weight. You know what I mean? Worth his
Yeah.
reputation would have to be like they have all the cars. I'll just wait outside their house. I mean, at a certain point, it kind of fosters this perception of, like, I don't know what, lunatic excess or something like that. And it's not really who we are. And sometimes I think it encourages people to like, it's just bad business-wise because people look at the papers and stuff and they go, hey, you guys look at all the money you must have. We can get this from you, or we can sue you for this. Or it can sometimes create problems for you in that way. But a lot of times it's just sort of funny.
Will it ever stop? How can you stop that?
I don't know if we can.
I gotta stop just giving away cars
I know.
all the time.
No,
Yes,
but how
I-
do you turn that image around?
I don't think you can control. I mean, there's some things you can control and some things you can't.
It's like what I was talking with you about before. It's like you hope that at the end of the day that what we do, the reason we're in the public eye is because we're actors and we do movies and I do records and stuff like that. And that's what we want at the end of the day, to speak for us more than anything else, the work that we do, and hope that it brings a little bit of joy into somebody's life or whatever that is. And that's what we hope at the end of the day kind of cuts through, and it's not about all this other stuff that people is entertaining to some people, but it's just stuff that's made up
Ultimately,
for
you
entertainment
know-
about
purposes.
you too, because you're America's couple or whatever.
You know what? One of the things I take a lot of comfort in when I like see stuff and it starts to make me crazy because I think, why this is completely not true. How could you print? Then I think to myself, it's such a disposable kind of culture now. It's like it goes away. There's something the next day. There's another thing. There's another story. There's another deal. And so none of it, even the stuff that you think like, I can't believe, I hope nobody ever believes this about me. This isn't true. This isn't who I am. It's gone the next day, and usually nobody remembers it. You know what I mean? It's like if you tried to go through
Some things they remember.
some things that I only think that to a certain extent the only thing that you can really say people shouldn't do is like put you in any danger or expose you in any way. Like I said, publishing like pictures of houses or where they are, or telling people how to get there, or that's that just puts somebody in danger. Because like, well, boy, wouldn't you feel bad if somebody showed up to the house and shot me, or maybe not. They wouldn't feel bad if they shot me. Or feel bad, it's just that happens though. You know what I mean? It happens all the time. People are insane. I mean, there's all kinds of crazy, horrible stuff that happens, and a lot of really crazy people. And obviously, most people aren't crazy, but strangely enough, like a lot of crazy people tend to focus on celebrities or TV personalities because they think they're talking to them through the TV or whatever it is. That's a real thing. That's no joke. Like you see some of these letters and you kind of it's creepy and so that's the only line that I would draw. I mean, there's lines of taste which I won't get into,
Right. But do you see yourself? I mean, when you're sitting around here, do you realize how fascinated America is by you? I mean, do you ever say what happened here?
It's so weird to even hear you say that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like such a strange thing.
I don't know. What's the fascination? It seems strange to me. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. It's like it's not a thing that, and I think we deliberately kind of don't deal with it or look for every little thing that gets written or whatever. And people actually in Canada have been really very civilized, I have to say. Kind of left us alone and very well. They're well-mannered people here. And I don't know. I think you can really make yourself crazy if you start thinking about who's paying attention to me, who's interested in me, where's my career.
Like I said, that's not why. At the end of the day, what people I think don't realize is that's not why you get
That's
into
gross.
the
I
business.
hate people who are like that. Actually, you know what I mean?
You know,
I
who are
find that
really-
really off-putting.
It's a weird thing.
When's the wedding?
Come on, Pat.
Well, something that bringing the priest.
Right
we
now.
thought what better way to do
Well,
it?
they're going to ask you that question all weekend, next weekend.
Yeah.
You got
Yes,
plans
you're right.
This summer, next summer?
What do you think?
I
When
fully
should
don't
we do
expect you to answer this, by the way, but
When should we do it?
it?
You
Yeah.
tell
No.
do you have a date?
him. Yeah, kind of.
We're working with something. We'll let you know when the time's appropriate.
Okay.
We'll give you a call.
It's not going to be a thing where we're trying to hide or anything
Right.
like that. We're just, we're not sure, and we don't feel the need to let people in on every step of the way
Right.
because it's boring, you know.
Well, how are you going to do that, though, seriously, when you think about you two guys getting married? With the helicopters and the paparazzi and the pictures.
I
The
think-
helicopters
think
are the thing
we're
that bums
unique.
me out because it seems like they'd be so loud. I've never been to a
I
celebrity
think they do
wedding.
the helicopters when you're trying to hide and nobody can get close and everything. And I think one of the things that we're not going to do, all right, and maybe I should have discussed this with you, is that, is that,
Please tell me, what are we
no,
gonna do?
I think
I'd love to-
a smart thing to do would be like to not make it the
Invite the
biggest
paparazzi.
secret. No, it's
Oh.
not to make it the biggest secret in the world. You know what I mean? If people want to be outside and they want to take our picture, then okay. You know, we're not gonna, be with 24
Well, that's
million security guards at our
certainly
wedding.
how we
right?
kinda
We want to
just-
just be like, have a nice wedding. We want to have it
Got
be
it,
a
yeah.
beautiful day about what it's about. And if there happen to be cameras outside, then that's fine. We're not gonna obsess over that.
You are.
Well, guess we've worked that out then, haven't we? Guess we've established that. No, I think the truth is that we've definitely kind of done. That's just how. That's what I believe. I think that's what Jen believes in. Is like to not change your life one way or another,
Yeah. you
according
gotta-
to the dictates of other people and how it might be perceived, what people might say, whether good or bad, what whether they're going to be photographers or not. If I want to go to the movies or get a slice of pizza or whatever, we do that. And if somebody takes a picture and we look just ridiculous slightly, then we do. That's why Jennifer keeps me around. She always will look good compared to me. You know what I'm saying? She's always sort of glamorous and thing, and I'm always.
But there's already been.
That's
Like,
not true.
I heard a rumor last week that you already got married.
Yeah, apparently
Yeah.
some
Days
poor
ago that
couple
you broke
in
up.
Vermont had a had something in Manchester, Vermont, and they had their whole thing, and people were showing up, and for some reason, some DJ on the radio said like, "Oh, I hear it's Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck's wedding," and so they came to their wedding and were shocked to see like 300 media people and photographers and stuff outside their wedding. They went ahead and got married anyway.
I
and
didn't know
people-
that.
Yeah, I just read that.
But
Wow.
do you hear those rumors as quickly as we do?
I didn't know about that one.
Yeah.
You knew about it.
We get called sometimes. Sometimes people call me with a vaguely so listen, if you are getting married this weekend, a lot of people know about it, and I'm always say no, I'm not. So I don't know. That's
So how much will you put out there though? You have like a prenup, a honeymoon, all that stuff. Are you gonna let all that stuff go out there, or are you gonna try to? Keep
Look,
it
I
secret?
think you got to
Because
try to
people will
keep.
make it up.
People will make
there's-
it up.
There's things that we want, obviously, that we would keep private. We want to keep the day about our family and about us and about what we're doing and the commitment we're making. That's what it's about that day. And everything else, the details of the wedding and what gets out and what doesn't, I won't obsess over it, because I just think it will take away from the specialness of what the day is supposed to be.
And stuff might get out, and stuff might be right, or stuff might be wrong.
Right.
That's
I
sort
mean,
of how
there's
it's been
stuff
with us
that's out
already.
that's
Is that
right
you have stuff that's
about us now
incorrect
and
and it's
stuff that's
wrong.
wrong.
And so you
Exactly.
just kind of have to. come to terms with that and just feel like, well, you know, we don't put anything out there. It's not like we're out there. As you say, it's the first time we've ever been interviewed together, and that's because we're in a movie together.
Right.
It's not like we want to kind of, you know, show and tell Martha Stewart and kind of be like,
or
this
like
is our
use
sitting
our
room.
relationship for anything.
You know what I mean?
Like
It's
me.
like, well, that
We
is
do
it,
like you.
You know, but it's not, you know, but that stuff does get out there, and to a certain extent, so you can't control it. And so some people think like, oh, they're peddling their personal life, or some people think, oh, how invasive this is and how this goes. You know, you can't control all that. It's going to run the entire gamut. I can't get crazy.
We're
thinking
doing a
about it.
movie together. It's called Gigli.
That's right.
That's why we're here.
It's called Gigli.
Do you think Matt will break down when he makes the toast? At the rehearsal?
He's a very weepy man.
Well, actually,
Very
the
emotionally-
best man does the toast.
The best man does do the toast. That's true. Which would probably be my brother.
Yes.
That's what's to Matt. Although
Matt can make a toast if he likes. Though.
he's welcome to toast. He's made many.
I know he has.
Yeah.